My lords, I speak to 122 and 123, to which I attached my name, the first in the name of the noble Lord, Lord Hunt of King's Heath, and the second in the name of the noble lady, Baroness Cumberledge. And they have both introduced these very clearly. So I want to really only make 3 points to perhaps add some extra different perspectives to those. The first one of those points that I wish to make is that there is today what I can only describe as a heartrending report in The Guardian about Windrush compensation. 2 years on. And the headline talks about long waits and abysmal payouts. It talks about, within the depth of the story, it talks about one legal agency talking about 5 people waiting for more than 18 months for compensation. Now, if we think about this was as high a profile, a scandal, as high a profile an issue as you could possibly imagine, attracted far more attention than the issues covered by the noble lady Baroness Cumberledge's report. And if that's going so badly, surely we have to address this issue in many ways, smaller and more limited and perhaps much less complex in many ways, in terms of 1, 2, 3, to create a situation to deal with these 3 cases. And in terms of Amendment 122, to create a situation to deal with all cases. And so that we have a system and a framework there, which hopefully can do better than is being done in the Home Office, and perhaps we can hope at least that such an agency within the health framework wouldn't suffer from the same environment as the hostile environment in the Home Office, in which the Windrush compensation has to act within. My second point, and this comes partly from the fact that I spent part of this morning at the All-Party Parliamentary Group Legal Aid inquiry on the current condition of legal aid. And if one was to apply a medical term to this, I think the description fairly would be in a critical condition in intensive care. Our courts, legal aid is enormously overstretched. Our courts are enormously overstretched. And I would say that ideally we should be in a situation where very few people who are the victims of medical malpractice, medical misadventure, of commercial interests overweighing the medical shouldn't have to go to court at all. We need an automatic system. But if we just look at the practical point, putting the philosophy to one side, we have a court system that really is in no position at the moment to deal with these situations. And we want to take them out of the court system to take the pressure off. And my third point is I want to pick up on the point that the noble Lord Hunt of King's Heath made, responding to the Minister's response to the previous amendment. And I think it can be summed up, this may indeed be a direct quote, if not now, when? The Parliament gets through on average, I believe, I heard the figure of 30 bills a year. If we don't do this now, with all of the pressures of Brexit, with all of the pressures of the climate emergency and the nature crisis and the economic struggles that we're facing, where are we going to find the space and the time to do this again within that 30 bill limit? I think this has to be the time. This is the place. This is now the opportunity. This has been thought through and worked through by the noble lady and her team, and let's just do it. So that's my contribution on these amendments. I do just want to take a second, if I may, because this is my final contribution on this bill. I think we have been, due to the clashes, particularly due to the clashes with the Internal Market Bill, we have been a very small group of people, and there's a small group of people who've carried an enormous load. I've attempted to make my very small part, to make a small contribution towards that, with the particular interest in coming in from the environmental side, but also from the feminist side and the concern about patients and patient safety side that reflects my personal experiences and my family background. So I want to say thank you for everyone for all of their contributions. Thank you for your patience with me. I'm aware that I've only been in your lordship's house about a year, so I'm still very much feel like I've got my learner plates on. I'm working my way through and trying to work out the best way to contribute. But thank you very much, my lords. And I'm afraid, I'd love to say we won't need to be back round again, but I very much fear we will. Thank you, my lords.